Tonight on Metro News in Focus. The deadliest month yet for motorcyclists. And a Kaiapoi Boat Club awaits its upgraded look. Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the final episode of Metro News in Focus, brought to you by journalism students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School. First up tonight, we're only halfway through November, but already it's been the most deadly month on Canterbury roads for motorcyclists. As the finer weather sets in, motorcyclists are getting out there, sometimes with rusty bikes, sometimes with rusty skills. Gunson with this.
Recently, it seems like the same notification has been repeating itself. After 4 people were killed in motorcycle accidents in the first weekend of this month, 3 of them on Canterbury roads. Owner of Ormsby Motorcycle Training, Dan Ormsby, says this time of year is one where we often see a number of motorcycle crashes.
The beginning of the riding season, unfortunately, does see a spike in crashes and unfortunately fatalities. So bikes that maybe have been parked up over the winter, rusty skill sets.
Dan's company offers safety training for motorcyclists, experienced or not, and says that awareness is the key issue.
In general, we're about helping people get more out of their ride, whether it's just building confidence and improving their skill set. But really, one of the biggest things is improving and increasing awareness.
Of the 7 motorcyclists that have lost their lives on Canterbury roads this year, 4 have passed away in just the last 3 weeks, the youngest of whom is believed to have been 23 years old. The 23-year-old, who police have identified as Selwyn man and New Zealand Army soldier Mitchell Rutter, died in a head-on collision with 40-year-old Aaron Sadler on this road, Dyer's Pass. Its lethal reputation earned a speed limit reduction to 60 km per hour last April in a bid to keep motorists safe, but it hasn't changed the fact that there is little room to safely pass vehicles. But Dan says there are some people who just don't know what they're doing on the road.
I think probably half the people that are driving around on the roads are, you could say, maybe harsh, but they're incompetent. So, that's how we got to enter into riding out there on the roads.
It's a busy time of the year for Dan and his business, as many motorcyclists come in for training or just to refresh themselves on their skills.
Yeah, this is definitely a busy time of year for us, so we're heavily involved in the Ride Forever program, which is ACC branded and funded motorcycle training. I think this month we've probably put around 100 people through, individuals through Ride Forever training.
So if you're a motorcyclist and you're not feeling 100% confident, it pays to learn a lesson on a course, not a road. Gunson, Metro News.
A 150-year-old boating club in Kaiapoi is hoping an upgrade to its existing building will match the town's fresh new look. Here's Courtney.
The river town of Kaiapoi hopes to become a popular destination following a lengthy $300,000 restoration project.
We've spent a bit of time putting in our new pontoons. They've gone in just recently, ready for the River Queen to dock up next to that.
With upgrades to the river being the focus of the council's plans.
Well, I think there's a number of things. I think Kaiapoi offers a range of activities for people who just want to visit for the day. They can come, hop on the River Queen, go up and down the river, fishing, boating, recreational, there's cycle tracks, there's walking tracks, so on and so forth.
With rowing being one of the most common activities on the river. But since the Canterbury earthquakes, the local boat club the rowers call home has been damaged.
And our building, we need to upgrade it because of the fact of this earthquake, and also to fit into that new, the new way that the town's developing. So it's more modern and it looks smart. At the moment, we're the building that doesn't look smart.
The club performed temporary repairs to make it safe and functional for the members to carry on while they worked towards a rebuild.
So as far as rowing is concerned in Canterbury, the Kaiapoi River and the Waimak rivers are the real places to be because we've got plenty of water. It's not too congested, although we do get some congestion with fishermen and other boats, but as far as the water itself is concerned, it's the best you can get.
They don't only want to make it 10 metres longer with a full 2-storey building, they also want to make the establishment accessible to the public.
If there are other clubs who wanted to use this for like a social space or meeting space, that would be fine. But it could be, this would be a primo site to have a wedding. that sort of stuff. Imagine that, you get 120 people, 150 people in here overlooking the river.
He says they have raised 2/3 of the money needed, but is positive the rebuild will happen.
It all works pretty good, like I say, we've been 150 years, so we've stood the test of time, the rowing stood the test of time, so has the river and so has Kaipoi.
With lots of exciting opportunities happening in Kaipoi, he says an upgrade to the Cure Boating Club will guarantee them another 150 years on the water. Courtney Winter, Metro News.
Mental health is one of the most talked about topics when it comes to young people. I met a pair that are doing more than just talking about it.
What do you do when you're presented with an opportunity to help others? Do you grab it by the hand, or do you need more time to think about it?
That's the sound of New Zealand's newest app, developed to support positive mental well-being. It's called Akimbo, and it's the brainchild of duo Alan Cox and Savannah Ornsby. As they explain, it's all come from personal experience.
Look, I've had challenges with my mental well-being for quite a few years. I then lost a friend to suicide, and that really started me thinking about doing something about this.
I did a mental health awareness week talk actually here at Biz Dojo, and following that, and Alan was at that, and following that he asked me to catch up, and I had no idea what it was about. And then I heard this brilliant idea, and I couldn't say no to being involved.
With literally millions of apps for supporting mental health out there, I asked the team to compare its own.
The key difference with Akimbo is that you can literally listen to it anytime, anywhere. So you could literally listen to it while driving or even while working.
It seems when it comes to using the service, simplicity is paramount.
So the very first experience you have with Akimbo actually is that you get taken through a very quick and simple questionnaire, and that really gives us an understanding of what your mental well-being profile is like. You literally just come in and press the play button, and what we deliver to you is a stream of personalised narrations that are really around, so all you have to do is listen to those.
Dame Sue Bagshaw, who has more than 30 years experience with young people, has some reservations.
I really have yet to find out how you can have a good relationship with a phone. We also know that actually good mental health is created by doing things for other people. And again, not sure if positive affirmations on your phone is going to help you do that. It might, but so long as it does encourage action as well as just listening to things on the phone.
Look, at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge that is where young adults spend their time. So it would be great if we could take that time away from, say, social media and use that time for something much more proactive.
While Alan and Savannah say they've sought out significant medical reference for the project, Dame Sue Bagshaw believes the key to success lies in a positive outlook.
It's everybody's grandmother's pet saying, count your blessings. But it does set your mind in a frame that says, I'm going to be happy with what I've got and then strive for what I would like.
In terms of Akimbo itself, Alan and Savannah are also thinking positively. A Kickstarter campaign starts in the coming weeks, and they're hopeful of launching early next year. As the region enjoys its day off tomorrow, thousands are expected to attend the New Zealand Agriculture Show. Leighton Heikell has more.
Canterbury out in force, embracing its rural community.
Yeah, everyone's great. Hasn't been any issues. There's coffee everywhere, which makes me happy. So
amazing, great food, great people, great atmosphere. I love the agricultural show. One of the best times of year is to hang out with your family and your friends. And yeah, no, it's a good time.
We wouldn't come back every year if we didn't love it.
The new year comes with a new name, the New Zealand Agricultural Show. And that's fitting, considering it's the country's largest A&P event.
Our show is the biggest A&P show in the country by ×4.
More than 100,000 people are expected to walk through the gates, and with 2 days down, 1 to go, A&P Association President Chris Herbert is excited, but realises not everything will go to plan.
Well, yeah. Look, there's always going to be the odd hiccup, isn't there? When you've got a behemoth that's so big, there's going to be the odd hiccup. It's never going to go smoothly.
The show hasn't been without its challenges. Mycoplasma bovis has impacted how the show deals with cattle, but there's also concern about the growing disconnect between urban and rural communities.
I'm shocked sometimes at some of the things that the urban city population say to me about farming. absolutely shocked. There's a disconnect there now that some of the things just don't happen that they seem to think is happening out on the farm.
Chris hopes city dwellers will continue to attend the event to understand just what farmers do.
The general public have the opportunity to come along and witness what's happening in the farming industry, see the animals, touch an animal. You go into the city farmyard on a Friday and you are struggling to get in the door. They've got all sorts of animals there everything.
Stall operators are looking forward to seeing Canterbury at the show too.
Yeah, the more people that come, the better it is for everybody. And as I say, it's an educational process. And not only for the alpacas, all livestock around the show, that people can learn what the farmers are trying to do.
It's a key draw card for us to come. We're pleased we did so, and we're happy to be here for the next few days.
Even this guy had something to say. I think that's an invitation to come on down. Leighton, Heikell, METRONEWS.
One group of Cantabrians have launched an online campaign to get men talking more about their mental health. Isobel Prasad sat down with Hey Bro, the Kiwi Brotherhood, to share their story.
Tēnā kōrua. Thank you both, Campbell and Matt, for coming in and having this interview with us today. So firstly, what is Hey Bro?
So Hey Bro is a Facebook page, a Facebook group for men, and it's different from other Facebook groups in that it's we think it's what men need. It's kind of what we think we need, so we're just doing what we do and then rolling that out.
It's real and raw.
Yeah, real and raw. And it doesn't shy away from the real issues that are happening for guys. And I guess we feel it's doing something that's not being done elsewhere.
And you mentioned issues. What are those issues?
There's such a wide range of issues. They can run from your standard money to childhood issues to isolation, depression, anxiety.
Some people might say, hey, it's a men's mental health site, but it's not really. It's actually just a bloke's lifestyle page, because we take it much broader than that. So guys will log on and say, I'm feeling really depressed today, but we see that in the context of their whole lives, because essentially we feel that at the core of all this, the current mental health dilemma that we're in is loneliness, and guys needing a place to actually lower the guard and say how it really is around frustration with not being able to get the battery out of their car through to not being able to relate well with their wife, or feeling like killing themselves.
Do you feel like in society we have enough conversation about mental health?
The people who need it aren't in the conversation, and those having the conversation are possibly service providers rather than the actual people suffering. And I think it's wrong that it's framed up as mental health. There's something that I always bang on about on the page, that it's not mental health, it's not a brain issue, it's a relational issue, and it's an emotional issue, and those two are connected.
Yeah, I'm finding that a lot of people don't actually know how to process the emotion. A lot of it's dealing with things at the time and not knowing how to deal with that situation.
Why are we scared to be vulnerable?
Because I was never taught. It was always, I'm not going to say that I ever heard the thing in my house of harden up, but that was the attitude that I always got. It was definitely an attitude in my household to be seen and not heard. So if you had a problem, you got over it.
Yeah, a lot of the messaging at the moment is, hey, you need to talk about your problems. If you've got a problem, talk. If you feel suicidal, talk, go find someone. That's only half of it. The other part is that who listens, like who knows how to listen properly in society. I think that's actually where the work is and where the education is. Because people don't talk because they have before and it didn't work.
When it comes to male-dominated sports like fencing, one woman is trying to change the game by advocating young girls to pick up minority sports. Brooke with this.
One young Canterburyan is making waves in the fencing world, having been crowned national épée champion last month, and is wanting to encourage more women to take up the sport. Claire Cooper started fencing when she was 10 and is coaching around schools in Christchurch, wanting to inspire young girls to start fencing.
In New Zealand, it's massively male dominated. At the moment, I actually coach at an all-girls school, and I was put there because there's only a few women coaches in Christchurch, and they love it. They absolutely love it, and they love having a female coach. And I think that's something that right now a lot of the girls in New Zealand are trying to do. They're trying to encourage other girls in fencing to keep going and join in and be part of it, because it is real male dominated.
To her, encouraging more girls to join the sport is what drives her to coach, wanting to show them that there is no glass ceiling when it comes to the world of fencing.
I love doing it in the all-girls schools because, you know, it means I get to tell the little girls, there's nothing that can stop you. You've got this. You're gonna do well.
But fencing in New Zealand hasn't always been segregated when it comes to competing. The tournaments at a national level, as until a few years ago, allowed women and men to compete against each other. For Cooper, the mixed competitions helped to acknowledge the small amount of female fencers and opened up more opportunities for them to compete.
There was actually a rule in fencing for New Zealand a few years ago where the girls could compete against the boys in the competitions, and they got rid of that recently just because there were a bunch of things with rankings and blah blah blah. But you know, the girls would beat the boys. I think sometimes people ignore the fact that there's not many girls, and I think acknowledging that, you know, there's a small amount, but we're still really good. And we're still working towards getting more people involved is really good.
But she says this treatment of women's sport isn't limited to just fencing, as other bigger sports also lack exposure for female tournaments. Brooke, METRONEWS.
Courtney Winter went along to the Barkery's first pup-up event in the weekend.
Barking up a storm in the central city. The wet weather didn't stop humans and dogs alike from coming to the second pup-up event. While cat cafes have been around for a while, this event is happening in the lead up to the Barkery, New Zealand's first adoptable dog cafe.
I felt that there was a gap to be filled between the public and reaching these dogs. So yeah, it was just an agglomeration of this love for dogs and a desire to do more.
Who says for some there's a barrier for people wanting to visit shelters, including the travel distance.
So much love to give, and there are so many people who are actually there and willing to help, but there are barriers for them helping. So often there's a distance issue to get out to the shelters. There can be some negative connotations around, you know, the environment that these dogs are in, and, you know, some, dare I say it, doggy jail is something that some people feel.
With the help from multiple shelters and local eateries, their events are showcasing the idea to the public.
So yeah, for us it was kind of like, let's turn and pivot on this shelter environment and try and make it a little bit more consumer friendly in a sense, to put the dogs in the best spotlight, and yeah, just linking them up with their forever homes, and that's exactly why we're existing. So.
They hope to raise adoption rates for our canine companions while also providing an experience.
And that's part of it too, like it's, you know, the end result is always to try and find the forever home, but there's an experience here that people in Christchurch really like and are eager for, as we've seen.
With the Barkery hoping to open mid-2020, many four-legged friends will soon be put in the spotlight. Courtney Winter, METRONEWS.
And that's all for tonight and for this series. We hope you enjoyed watching the last 7 weeks and that we brought Canterbury stories in focus. You might see us down the road somewhere, but from us, for tonight, those were our stories in focus. Ngā mihi nui, e kōnei rā.